I do hope that you found these weekly reflections a useful resource and a way of staying connected throughout this time of separation. I determined from the outset that whatever we offered as an alternative to our regular Sunday worship in church had to be accessible, not only to those with a social media account or internet access, but to everyone. And just as importantly, that whatever we started, we could be sure that we would be able to continue to offer once public worship in church is possible again. I'm sure this has been frustrating for some who would have appreciated a more substantial online offering. Well, I'm pleased to say that we're now in a position to move towards that. You might think that that's a bit nuts as lockdown is easing now, but there will be a good number from our church family who will not be able to return to church anytime soon. And we've made new connections online, which we should nurture with no expectation that people are going to want to join us in church. They might not. They might be able to, and they might not. But physical church attendance no longer needs to be a barrier to belonging or taking part. I'm very grateful to a number of people who have spent days, literally days, getting to grips with various unfamiliar technologies and platforms, and who have worked with colleagues across the deanery, diocese and national church to help us to refine our thinking. There's still a lot more thinking to do and questions we need to ponder. We're just about to publish a questionnaire online, which will also be available through the Scallop Shell and the Pelican. This asks about your experiences of church in these last months and will help us to focus our time and resources in the future in ways that are going to be most productive. Please complete it online if you can, but if not, the hard copy is available and you can either put it in church or post it to the vicarage in Warkworth. So next Sunday, the 28th of June at 10 o'clock, we're offering everyone across the benefice and beyond the opportunity to join in a celebration of the Eucharist either by telephone or via Zoom. Many of you have been Zooming with family, friends, book clubs and the like, and I know you all know how to use the hash key on your phones. Those of you who have been receiving a hard copy of the order of service will still receive one, but might like to try telephoning in as well. The instructions for joining the service are on this week's notices. If you'd like to try Zoom but need a bit of help, then drop me an email and we'll try and fix a dry run. There is, of course, a whole discussion to be had about virtual worship and what this means, and I look forward to having that discussion with you. Now, I don't want to be accused of avoiding this week's difficult readings, so a few words about them, although they're not the kind of readings you can do justice to in just a few lines. But some thoughts to focus our thinking and praying on them. Jeremiah laments the irresistible compulsion he experiences to proclaim the word of the Lord, which in turn sets him at odds with the society that he is called to critique. And Jesus warns his disciples that acknowledging him and proclaiming the kingdom will likewise be a cause of conflict and condemnation. These readings leave us with a great deal to ponder at the moment, when to challenge the prevailing wisdom that claims the moral high ground on any number of issues is to risk being outcast. It's all part of the same to me. It's all about listening and including, not excluding, about hospitality rather than tolerance, and of our need for grace rather than judgment.